I had to get letters saying that, literally saying this person is irrevocably committed to finishing their transition. Like, this is just the first step.
Okay.
And then really to be like, even if I'm low dosing, I'm still going bald. Then, I really just wanted to take my shirt off, but thanks. No, I need a hair transplant.
Welcome back to Making It Awkward. I'm Jessica Wilson, clinical dietitian and author of It's Always Been Ours. You can find me on Instagram at JessicaWilson.MSRD. This is an independent podcast supported by the members of the Patreon community. When you join as a paid member for as little as $3 a month, my dad welcomes you to the show. And right now you will find the extended version of the video you'll hear in just a bit. You can also support the show by rating it and reviewing it on your favorite podcast app. You can catch the show on YouTube, and you can email the pod at makingitawkwardpod@gmail.com. Another way to support the show is to buy awkward merch on my website, including stickers and shirts that say, I came, I saw, I made it awkward. Today, nurse practitioner and my colleague, Calvin Gilbert, returns to the show, this time to discuss, a lot. We chat about self-medicating ADHD with exercise and the intersections with and connections to disordered eating and gender. Calvin talks about their all or nothing thinking, their history with alcohol abuse, and their experiences competing in 2 Ironman races. We get into the multiple times they've come out to family and friends over the last 20 years and their path to knowing they're non-binary. At the end, Calvin pledges to work on a couple of adulting tasks, and we'll follow up with this audience. Calvin and I start the episode with an update of my feelings about the American Diabetes Association conference. Just hours after my episode with Shireen Chow was published, all attendees of the conference received an email recap. I opened it up to scan for any mention of the protest there, and instead found a recap of the nutrition hot topic session in which Shireen and I spoke. Kevin and Hillary's talks were featured at length, and mine and Shireen's were combined into a single paragraph at the bottom with only our names, the topic of our talks, and that ours weren't recorded. My immediate feeling was sadness about being a footnote in an email, which turned into anger, and then back to sadness. I made this video of my thoughts.
I'm going to get through this in one take. Many of you saw that researchers were escorted out of the ADA conference. I was there to speak about ultra-processed foods. Shireen Chow was in the same panel, Hot Topics in Nutrition, to talk about immigrant and refugee nutrition. All of it in 15 minutes. Kevin Klatt was also there to talk about supplements. Hillary Wright was also there to talk about menopause. We could opt in or opt out of being recorded. Shireen and I both opted out because of safety concerns. Having our work being, there for researchers and whomever, to see us both being critical of the administration, to see Shireen talk about immigrants and show photos and be critical of ICE. I didn't remember that we had opted out until I saw that both Hillary and Kevin were featured in the email that came out. I was like, what? Like, Shireen and I were also really important. And then the organizers very nicely said, you two opted out. And it was like, oh, right. And that opt out, not only, it was the right decision as per what happened Friday morning, but it just makes me so sad that that's where we are, where we can't feel safe to show up, where we've been invited to and say the things that are true and need to be said. We have to fear for ourselves, for family members, for people in our community, for just, saying things that are true. And I just want us to respect and value the truth, and I want us to keep telling the truth. And I want us to understand how important it is when we tell the truth as vulnerable people. Thanks for listening.
I had already scheduled a time to record an episode with Calvin for the following day, and second to Shireen, Calvin was the best person I could have talked to. My concerns about having my talk recorded weren't solely about the critiques that I was giving of this administration. It was also about what could happen during the talk when it was being recorded. And with that, Calvin, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Really excited to be here.
I know. The first time we did it, it was like 10 months into having a podcast. I brought you on to be like, hey, you're the reason. You're part of the reason that I have a podcast because of how chaotic the conference was that I went to, and bringing you back to talk really quickly about conference reflection. So for folks who have not been back in the catalog of this podcast, you and I were speaking about weight stigma, health at every size, at a conference in 2023, I believe. And
oh, no, it was. Yes.
I think it was 2023.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's how old the podcast is. And we got shouted down from the back of the room.
I feel like there's a more intense descriptor and I just can't think of it. But yes. There was an unhinged person in the audience.
Right. And an unhinged person who was like a medical doctor and a parent of a trans kid, I believe.
No.
Of course.
Did you find that out?
JM was talking to her out in the hallway.
I blocked it out. Oh my gosh. No, I mean,
we're not surprised she was really triggered, but yeah, she was telling JM, you've lost your biggest ally.
Okay. And then all I could think about was her poor child and the fat shaming that she would do and the eating disorder that she would give her child.
Yes. And all of her patients as a obesity medical specialist, which is what happened. So yes, that was our presentation. She was yelling multiple times about obesity and
the disease.
Yes. And we had to stop. So the connection here is that at the American Diabetes Association conference, I did not feel safe enough to have my session recorded. One, because of administration and safety for what I'm saying concerns, but also having it recorded if someone were to yell at me in the audience. My topic specifically was ultra processed foods, and the emotional responses people have had to me talking about how we don't know what an ultra processed food is. It's like porn. You know it if you see it. Yeah. Where people are like, Jessica, you're bought by Big Food, or, are you saying sugar's okay? Are you saying that everybody should be eating chips and, soda and candy? Like I was ready for that both during and then in the Q&A. And I was like, I don't want that recorded if that were to happen, because that's happened before.
Yes. Okay. I hadn't. Now I'm putting together all of the reasons of not choosing to be recorded, not consenting to being recorded.
Yeah. Right. And in the moment I was like, I'm getting paid. I'm going to have a great time with my friend. Like I truly, until actually yesterday when texting with a friend, Lindsay Lee Wallace, who's been on the show, reminded me that by not having that recorded, like it's not available to everybody else who was at the conference. Whereas the two white folks who were comfortable, like their talks are available. So it's not just like in that moment, it's not being recorded, like recorded or not, like I was still going to be there. No problem. It's that like those talks will live on, like anybody who was at the conference can access those talks, right? Anybody who
shared with other people. Like I was thinking about the fallout after. I wasn't even thinking about in the moment.
So
okay, sorry.
No. So like Shireen put a lot into hers. I spent a lot of time on my presentation. Really, the time was cutting an hour into 15 minutes. Like that was the struggle. Anyhow, like the people in that room will hear it, but like anybody who was not able to make it and wanted to go back and hear it won't be able to, especially, with Shireen's, which is very important as well. So that was what I was putting together. Like, it's not just, the fear that drives decision making is something that I knew and know, like, intellectually, but just getting that reminder was just like a gut punch of like, this is where we're at, like colonialism 101.
Not getting like any recognition because you aren't safe enough to be able to be recorded, and like the online backlash that you've already had from talking about this stuff. I was thinking about all of that, but then to not be like given credit or any recognition, it doesn't make sense.
So you were a good person, a great person to talk to, with somebody who's experienced the trauma of having to speak in front of hundreds of people and needing to start over halfway through, and people in the audience being activated by like the yelling in the room. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's already hard enough to present, and then having to like emotionally re-regulate to be able to continue with your presentation if and when someone has a reaction that is inappropriate.
Yeah. Inappropriate's a nice word.
Right.
Yes. Anyhow, so those are things that I didn't want on camera. But I mean, again, shout out to ADA. You let us say whatever we wanted to, but it just like in this climate wasn't safe.
It wasn't worth the risk.
No. Yeah. So there we are. I felt great and supported, and even in that moment may have felt safe-ish, but the risk for sure of my stuff being out there forever to pick apart. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I really can't get over the things that you have experienced at now, like, I don't know, like 4 or 5, like large conferences of just being invisible to other people, specifically white people, and having that, what am I trying to say? Like it showed up in different ways each time, but like that is the theme. Is whether you're presenting in that moment or having a conversation with someone in between attending presentations.
Yeah. And I love it. Hopefully we'll get accepted and be able to see what happens at WBATH.
You would think that, like, I don't know, I never would have thought something like that would happen at like a Trans Health Summit or like a trans conference, and
in San Francisco, not even, I don't know, in Texas or something like that, where I don't know. Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't just that, it was the other ways that people treated you in the hallways. Like it was a multi-layered, multifaceted. Yeah.
Yay!
But ask
me to speak at conferences because I love them. Everyone, I truly do. I have a great time meeting and talking and speaking. But yeah, the more that I get to do this, hopefully, the more it will be, quote, normal and, I don't know, either worth the risk or feel like less of a risk. So invite me and Shireen and other people. Let's just keep doing this until it's okay. Yeah.
Because what they want is for you to not come if you don't feel safe enough and don't have enough privilege to to be recorded or whatever else the
environment evokes. Yes.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Yay. Thank you. Okay. Back to our original topic at hand, neurodivergence and self-medicating and coping and disordered eating and body stuff. And I want to hear about an Ironman. I did and have run a marathon, and I don't know how people do anything other than that in a day. So yeah, where would you like to start? With the self-medication and running 9 miles in the morning so that you could function at work, perhaps?
Which was actually later after the Ironman, and until I got officially diagnosed with ADHD and prescribed medication, and the combination of that I did stop exercising even before we had kids. So yes, for my whole life, starting at 12, I was like very into swimming, or actually swimming and running, and then started doing triathlons when I was 12. And my sister really struggled in school. And I know they don't differentiate between ADD and ADHD anymore, but you know how there are some people who are much more hyper and struggle to focus, and then there are people who are less hyper and struggle to focus. So I'm the hyper one, so I was self-medicating with exercise forever, which also was really convenient because of having an active multiple eating disorders. It was like a win-win-win or a lose-lose. Hard to say. A win-lose, I don't know. It was complicated. But at the time it made sense. But then when I was done with school, I just kept exercising more because of the body dysphoria and eating disorders and the Venn diagram of how those can snuggle up together so nicely.
Yes.
And it was also, though, to help me focus at work, because at our clinic it was stressful in a different way, and I was a newer provider, so I was exercising like for hours before work, and then I was so stressed at work that I wasn't eating at all.
Yeah. And
I remember a coworker saying that I looked really like intimidating or scary, something walking down the sidewalk that we had passed each other. And I don't think anyone's ever described me as intimidating.
I probably wouldn't use that. Yeah.
I'm like very like short, and also I smile and apologize for no reason because I was socialized, raised a woman, a girl. So and when I look back at pictures, I was gaunt. I was so gaunt, and I had decided to have a mustache for the first time too. And there was there was a vibe going on. And it was my way to also like treat my anxiety. Like if I worked out until I was so tired that I could not feel anxious or get distracted because I was too tired to look at anything else. I was too exhausted to have the panic attacks that I'd been having like at work on the daily, but also kept me super thin. So again, like intersection.
That's a lot. So do you think that like you were doing one and then you were like, this is a benefit, so I'm exercising and I'm thin, or I secretly want to be thin, so I am going to self-medicate in these ways? Or it was just a lovely, like all of these things are going together and I love them both?
Kind of all of the above. I knew, at that point in my life was, say, when I started training for my first Ironman when I was 28, because I hadn't exercised for years, because of getting kicked off the swim team and then the trauma and shame around that. And also I was on very, very low dose testosterone that I did not know was very, very low dose. And actually that's the dose that I more prefer now, but no one told me that there was an option at the time. So I wasn't passing at all. And I really wanted to be at the time. Now I wish I looked less binary, but I really wanted to be. And it took like 6 years to grow like more than like a chin strap. And I didn't understand why everyone else had like luscious beards and like more muscle mass. So when I started presenting as more masculine, then I started doing triathlons again. And then I became obsessed with being thin again in like a different way. It's not like it had gone away in between, but it became like an obsession again. And it was one that I was determined to do an Ironman. I wanted to do one when I was a teenager. And then I was doing Olympic distance ones when I was 15 and 16.
Wow.
And at that age, it's just, for my body type, it would have been harder to not be thin than it was to be thin. So again, it wasn't like, I wasn't as conscious of the thin part. I knew that I wanted to be like in shape. But later, as you're getting closer to 30, I was like, it like takes a little more work to stay as emaciated as I so naturally was when I was only doing Olympic distance. And I wanted to do an Ironman because my swim coach, who had died, had always wanted to train me for one. And so I felt like I was healthier again. I was not drinking to such a huge degree that I was earlier. I'm exercising again. I'm presenting how I want to. And it was kind of a tribute to her and like to myself. And I thought it was a really healthy choice, actually, in comparison to binge drinking. So but it's an Ironman, so it was like an extreme choice, and it actually is a full-time job.
Yeah.
The training is, there were people with young children, only the men, for the record, who had young children, who I now am so angry at in hindsight, because I had young children, and I think about if I was training for an Ironman right now, how often Tess would be alone with the children. That's a whole separate thing. It's appalling. But I would work out like every weekend, at least one of the days you're doing like 100-mile bike ride and like a 10-mile run. I'd be getting up at 4. It was like 8+ hours of exercise at least. And I can't even remember the miles per week that I was running, but the biking is the thing that takes the most time. You're just constantly exercising. It was like before work, after work. I had a spreadsheet. I hired a coach who was in the running group, and he only charged us like a couple $100. I think we paid actually $1,000 for his coaching for that year, which in your 20s, like I was barely paying rent. I took out a credit card to buy my bike to do the Ironman.
For sure.
And it cost $1,000 to register.
Oh, okay. That was one of my questions too. So bikes are over, I don't know if they were over $1,000 then, but
I think I paid $1,200 for it.
Yeah.
It got stolen as soon as I moved here because I'm a country bumpkin and didn't leave it locked up when I walked in to get a coffee. But so it's, the whole thing costs, but also the amount of food that you do have to eat to do it.
Yeah, good point.
And that was like, so that was one expensive. The whole thing probably ends up costing like at least $5,000, probably more. And then you get there, and then when you finish, you have access to the tent to buy the merch, and you're so high from the race. And it's wild. It's all a cult that I still feel very fond about. And like, I think I probably at some point will end up doing another one, because a positive thing that came out of it was that I wasn't doing it to really compete. Like before that, there was also like a wanting to place and win. And this, I was like, I just want to finish it. And the first one, I really hurt my body, like because I was not taking care of myself in a lot of ways. And the second one, I didn't hire a coach. I used my old Excel sheets, and I just trained totally by myself because I had moved. So I did not do a single ride with anyone else. It was completely all like me wanting to get up and do it. And it was all at my own pace and not comparing to anyone. I wasn't talking about like, how much did you eat today? And like, how much did you exercise? And oh my God, my pants are falling off, and all the, so it was really like very much like a personal journey. And I still at that time, I wouldn't say I was doing a great job balancing, you know, it was still really obsessive and like compulsive, but I realized that it didn't have to be as much as I had the first time. Like, and I could see myself just doing it in a way where if my body hurts, then I stop that way. Like, instead of obsessively pushing through it. And I should have dropped out of the first one. I like very badly damaged my knee. I would like to at some point try running again without wearing a heart monitor and logging my miles and calories, and just like see if my body can even do that. I don't even know if I could run that far anymore without permanently damaging something. But I think having kids and just being older, and there's something about it that's the camaraderie when you're there, even though it is all mostly very, I mean, it's really privileged people. It's really expensive. And it takes up all your time. So some people are not having to work, like, to be able to exercise that much. It probably means that they don't have to work.
Jobs, yeah.
But there's all these people there's only a few people who are doing that race to place. And everyone else It's every body type and age that you can imagine. And there are people just walking the whole marathon. There are people just taking their time with it. Like that part is really moving. And like going to the finish line at midnight when when they cut off the finish. Because who cares about seeing the people that are sponsored? Like, of course they can go really fast and all this. Like, it seemed like the people who like overcame all these different things to do this race, and that is really beautiful. And I miss that like team, like kind of feeling or that shared experience. So I fantasize about it, but I would still want to eat when I do it, and I would eat regularly, and again not be looking at my miles per hour. Like the whole thing was really hard to describe. It's like I had a sheet of logging what was my average miles per hour for running, for biking, what was my heart rate, what did I eat that day. I kept a food journal. It's a 100-page spreadsheet or some shit. It's really an eating disorder.
So that was where I was going. It sounds like you'd be more casual, chill, emotionally regulated to do this again. Would any of it be so my body would do or look a certain way so that I would actually have to make time to eat because I'm not doing that right now? Do you think it'd be completely divorced from disordered eating and body stuff?
I don't think that that's possible for me. It's really hard to disconnect I exercised so I deserve to eat, and if I didn't exercise then I don't deserve to eat, or having this calories in, calories out calculator in my brain. I still think about it because I really do not exercise anymore. I have not run in 6 years.
No, you go running on lunch. You run your dog. This is live.
I walk. She's 8. She can walk a mile, maybe. And I'm pushing a double stroller. I am not running. I had to run to the BART the other day, and I was sore. I was sore for 2 days. I'm not. And people think I'm kidding, but I'm really not. I really don't.
Oh, I don't think you're kidding. You're over 40. Yeah.
I guess I jogged a little when Finn was, when he was first born. So 4 years ago, sometimes I would jog a mile or something, but I haven't looked at the running app on my phone in 4 or 5 years, and I don't swim. I have not biked once in 9 years since I moved here, but I'm an all or nothing person, and that's not good. So what I would like to do is to try a middle ground thing and see how that goes. And if it felt, and my therapist agreed that it was it was happening in an appropriate way, I could truly see myself maybe in 10 years. I'm not saying anytime soon, my 50s when.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to do it slowly, because how else would I be able to do it at that point? I over-exercised for years and destroyed my joints. So.
Yes. Can we go back to what we started talking about in the pre-show. We started talking about it before the episode. The gender and body and eating disorder and exercise intersections there. And you were talking about how you were passing and doing men's races and such. And so I'm curious about how gender and body dysmorphia have had a role for you.
When I was on swim team in college, because I came out as trans the very beginning of my second year at college. And at that point I was like, I'm kind of going by Calvin, but if you can still call me Megan, or I'm not going to harass you about it, or it's kind of your choice type deal. Because I'm not really good at that kind of stuff until I all of a sudden flip a switch and then become very angry because I'm a Gemini.
Because the all or nothing? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm I don't care. If you don't start doing this, you are out of my life. Also, no warning.
No, because that's how I'm feeling. And that's true, right? Like, yes.
Like, I just want people to like somehow read my mind and know how serious this is to me, but I can't say it. I can't say that out loud. So I started wearing a binder, and I went to Smith. I went to an all-women's school, and there was already a decent amount of trans people there. I started there 24 years ago. So there was a handful of us, and I felt very masculine, like, especially because, there were no cis men there.
Fair, yeah.
And I was binding the shit out of my chest, and I thought I felt masculine, and so I was. And except I was still on swim team. And when I started getting more upset about people using the name Calvin or not using the name Calvin, I had someone specifically say to me, I just can't when you're wearing a bathing suit, It's easier for me when we're hanging out outside of here, but I just can't. It's not coming out of my mouth when I see you.
It's easier for me.
Yeah. And then that made me really all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I'm in a women's bathing suit. I'm on a women's swim team. Because I also was asking people to use he, him pronouns. And you should have seen the look on my swim coach's face when I asked. I was definitely the first trans person on the swim team. And he had been there for 30 years and was like, wow. So he just kind of stopped using pronouns, and he would sometimes call me Calvin, but I think he started just avoiding my name sometimes. And so I went to him my junior year and said, the beginning of my junior year, and said, I want to take a semester off from swim team so that I can get top surgery. I knew that I couldn't go on testosterone because of regulations, and if I do that, can I come back and swim in a men's bathing suit? Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, well, will you check with people? It's not your choice just because you're the coach of the swim team. And he did, and he was like, no.
Really?
Because Smith is accepting of trans people, but also, very... It's anyways, they said no, and so then I was like, well, then I need to quit, because I'm not doing it. And he was like, do you really want to lose your last, year and a half of swimming competitively? You're really going to give that up for this? Mm-hmm. And I thought about it, and then I was like, okay, I really want to please you. You have become my father figure, and I was obsessed with him. So I decided to just suck it up and drink really hard about it. And I'm
sorry.
I decided to dissociate and binge drink. And I would go get ice from the trainers, because it was also a badge of honor. How many ice bags do you have strapped onto you when you come onto the deck? Because how many injuries do you have?
Yeah.
And so I would get ice and fill up my locker and put 40s in it.
No! Oh, God!
And then it was what people imagine in maybe certain pornographic movies about what happened in the locker room after swim practice. When I was there, that was really happening, and that was my coping mechanism. And then we got caught, and five of us weren't allowed to swim at a home meet because we'd been caught drinking in the locker room. And it was very embarrassing. And then I made it through my junior year, barely. My swimming sucked, and I went to the banquet. I thought I was going to be captain. And I went to the banquet completely beyond blackout drunk. But with 5 other people had pre-gamed with me. We did the thing where you drink a lot of liquor, and so when you show up, you're still talking fine and remember things. And then over the course of the next hour, that restaurant fell apart and someone threw up on the table.
Oh.
I apparently like gave a very long speech while sobbing about like what I had sacrificed for this team and that I can't believe you didn't elect me captain. I put off my transition for this and I was just a wreck. And then I guess that I left the restaurant and hitchhiked for the only time in my life back to campus. So we all got kicked off for the next year, including someone who had already finished. It was her senior year. Like she was done. It was our end of year banquet and they like retroactively took away this academic athletic award that she'd been given by the college. And it was a huge deal. And the next day I walked around town looking for a therapist and started seeing one. And she was the best.
That's good. And how quickly did you transition after that?
I had, let's see. So I got kicked off in April or like May. It was the end of the year banquet, something like April or May. It's kind of a blur. Even though I did start therapy, I wasn't making great other choices. And I started testosterone in November. And at that time, you had to be in therapy for 6 months to get a letter to start testosterone.
Yeah.
So, and I actually didn't go there for that. Like I went there because I didn't want to end up in rehab like my dad. And she actually said to me once, like, I know that you haven't asked for this explicitly, but just so you know, if you did ever want that support letter, I would write it for you. She's such a sweet lesbian who my best friend was also seeing, and we were living together. We're still best friends. We would be like talking about each other, and she was like, "I can't, please."
No. Yeah.
So I knew I wanted top surgery. I actually didn't want to go on testosterone at the time. I think was more identifying as non-binary before that was actually an option, but because you had to be in therapy for a year to get the top surgery letter.
Wow. Okay.
That I was so suicidal and depressed that that's like why I started testosterone, because like I was going to have to wait an extra 6 months to get top surgery. So I used all my graduation money to get top surgery the year after, and then told my family after I had got it. I wrote an email that was like, "Thank you all for your support and money. I just got my boobs chopped off.
Yay!
I'll pay for it," because insurance didn't cover anything.
No.
So
wow.
Then I stopped exercising. Like after I got kicked off swim team, that was because I didn't want to put on the shirts. I didn't want to do anything except for party. And so then when I finally started again with this running group later in my 20s, and they were all starting to train for an Ironman, like 3 of them were. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I was always going to do that. I'm going to do that. Felt like I was not a hot mess anymore. It felt like this is me getting my life together. Everybody thought that I wasn't going to survive college. And now I'm doing a fucking Ironman. So, but also I'm so thin and muscular and don't have breasts anymore. But again, always wanting to like be muscular, but you can't when you're not eating enough. Turns out you can't really use muscle. Plus, when the thing you're choosing to do is like 8 hours of cardio a day. That doesn't really make you get pecs, in case anyone was wondering. I just keep waiting for them to come.
That makes sense.
So yeah, even though things were better in some ways, it was like the restart of my obsession with like being thin. So what's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of deal.
Before you run, are you able to say more about wanting to present less binary now before you run?
Oh, yeah. So started off being like, I'm trans. Again, non-binary, that wasn't the thing anyone was talking about. So it was like, I'm trans and I'm just not sure when I'm going to start T. Was kind of like the thing. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, I actually don't really want to start T. I just don't want breasts. And then explained why I ended up starting T. And then once I started it, some other close friends had started like around that same time. There was one really like straight-laced white endocrinologist, like a middle-aged guy in Northampton who had like dozens of trans people like all of a sudden like coming to him because you had to get it from an endocrinologist. So once I was on it, and then when I started seeing other people who were on higher doses started to grow facial hair and their voices changing, then I was like, oh my God, I totally do want that. Like, I do want that, and I do want to pass, and I do want to be this other binary. But again, that actually doesn't make sense. If we were all going to the same endocrinologist, why were we all on different doses? This makes no sense in hindsight. So I'm on half of the dose that other people were. And again, just thinking like, well, my family maybe just doesn't have as much hair or something. So like wanting it. Then finally hit like a sweet spot with what I was happy with, how I was presenting. And then came to Lion Martin. And because I think I had just, in the couple years before I came, which is when I was in NP school, so I really wasn't seeing people. Like, it was a really intense program. I was behind on a lot of things happening socially.
Fair.
So I remember when people were like, I'm using they, them pronouns. And I was totally one of the people who was like, what? That doesn't like make sense. And I don't think I can say those words that way. So sounded like I was 80, and so I was just like focusing on like trying not to misgender my friends. And then I got to Lion Martin, and there were more non-binary, genderqueer people around, because I was in the San Francisco Bay Area working at Lion Martin, and people started introducing themselves, and a decent amount of people were using they, them pronouns. And then I started thinking, oh, that's me. I'm always like a little slow to self-aware in some ways, and so then I started using he or they, because again, I didn't want to inconvenience people.
Sure.
And since I had initially been using he, I was like, this is too much work. Also, I just spent 15 years policing the shit out of everyone in my life, and I'm too tired. I can't deal with this anymore. It's like coming out as a lesbian, and then coming out as trans, and then the pronouns and the name, and I was like, I just can't. And then I remember when I finally was like, okay, I'm just going to say they, them. And kind of around when I came to that revelation is when I really started losing my hair. And like, because I had been on T I've been on T now for over 20 years. And so that was like, I had been on it for like 15 or a little less, enough time that a lot of people started to lose their hair. Plus, I had at one point gone up on my dose for a little while. I went on almost max dose testosterone. I think it was like around when I was about to do my second Ironman, and I had this moment of like, why am I not using a little more testosterone right now? This would probably be a lot easier to do all this training.
Heck yeah.
But then again, just so fast started losing my hair. And I was only on it for a couple months that high, but I ran out of my finasteride, and it disappeared from my med list, and I was too lazy to message my provider. So then that literally is why I stopped taking hair loss meds, which I think were helping. And at this moment and I still haven't messaged him about it. So then I started looking like a bald white cis man, and as I was like, please use they them pronouns, and I'm like, oh my God, now people probably think that I was assigned male at birth, and I'm like one of those people who's like, please use different pronouns for me.
Yes.
I'm presenting in a very binary way with my dress and whatnot, but please use they, them. And then I have a lot of feelings about being perceived as that person, even though I don't judge other people.
Yeah.
Who that is their life.
Absolutely.
So it's just a constant little existential crisis. Even my wife was like, I remember her saying, do you want me to use they, them pronouns for you? It sounds like I've heard you introduce yourself that way now to multiple people. Oh. And I was like, I just don't want to bother you.
No! Oh, wow.
And she just started doing it because she's wonderful and like started like correcting like her family about it. And by correcting them, I mean informing them, because I hadn't even asked anyone.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And in the last 30 seconds, I will say or ask, were you at that presentation about detransitioning? I think it was at the second UCSF.
No.
Conference. Okay.
But I am so curious.
Okay. One of the things was in the study, I think it was Elijah Castle had done. A lot of it was detransitioning because people didn't know that non-binary was an option. Like they just wanted they just wanted no boobs. And so, yeah.
But then also like you're struggling mental health wise, and then to have to like be in therapy for twice as long. Plus you had to pay for therapy. Like it was also expensive. Plus you had to privilege.
Okay, you actually have to
pay for your top surgery because it wasn't covered. So like, and guess what's cheaper? Fucking testosterone. So you're like, oh, maybe I'll just do a little bit of tea instead.
Yes. And you had to be doing, it wasn't like you could do either. It was like you had to be on T in order to get top surgery, right?
You know what? That is no, of course that is true. I had to get letters saying that, literally saying this person is, I can never pronounce this word, irrevocably committed to finishing their transition. Like this is just the first step.
Yeah.
And you'll obviously be so excited to pay out of pocket for every gender affirming surgery that applies to the binary that you wish you were and wish you had been born. It even said like that you wish you had been born. It said, oh my God, I blocked out all of that. Yeah.
So it wasn't even an option to not.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then really to be like, oh, even if I'm low dosing, I'm still going bald. Then
okay.
I really just wanted to take my shirt off, but thanks. Now I need a hair transplant.
We can go to Turkey for that. I'm sure I could find something that I need done. I'm sure I can find something. You're amazing. Thank you so much for coming back. I know that the people will want to hear from you again about all the things, and we'll do a recap of WPATH. I'll be able to just come on and tell you all about it, and everything I learned. And you can see
my passport because I still haven't got my finasteride refilled. I'm definitely going to get my passport renewed. And I even care what gender markers on it? I don't know. Maybe that's just an excuse to not have to try and get my passport renewed because it's a whole process. I don't know.
Can we co-work on that sometime? Because you might be able to come if you want to.
That is true. And now that I've said it, the possible truth out loud to you.
Yes.
There'll be a part 2 on this.
And hundreds of people you've said this to, not just me.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Okay, so by the time this intro is out, this episode is out, you'll have at least made the call to your doctor about your medication.
Oh, I was going to say, wait, your doctor helps with your passport?
More.
It's like, great. And maybe if I get a passport with F on it, that will balance out how I'm presenting. And then I will actually be non-binary.
I love it. See? It's all working.
All right. Well, I got to go and go for a run. So I'll talk to you.
Love you, friend. Talk to you soon.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much to Calvin for returning to the show. They have promised us all updates on their prescription and passports, and I'll bring those to you, hopefully soon. Thanks so much for listening. This is Making It Awkward. I'm Jessica Wilson. You can support the show by rating, subscribing, reviewing the podcast. You can join the Patreon. You can find me on Instagram at jessicawilson.msrd. You can watch the show on YouTube. You can email the pod at makingitawkwardpod@gmail.com. You can also buy Awkward merch on my website. The show's audio and video is edited by Jen Jacobs, who has her passport renewed, ? Hopefully. It's supported by the Legacy of Sacramento Outboard Services.